We are live.
Good people, I know. Welcome. I just want to invite everyone to this virtual space. Everybody get comfortable. Please silence your phones. I know I can't hear it, but we're just going to act like how we know to act when we are in the company of greatness. We are ready to start a show. When we are going to be in community, albeit virtual, community audience, we are. My name is Dasha Kelly Hamilton, and I am so excited to be in this space with all of you, everywhere you are. And it's so much of the every and the where. Please do me a favor in that chat thread. Two things. Drop a name of where you are in the world. And secondly, what's happening outside your window? I'm coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and on the second day of April, we are watching snowfall. So in the chat thread, please clue into us, check in with us, where you coming from and what's happening outside your window. And as you'll see, there we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So as we fill this chat thread up, it's almost like you can see across a theater. Yeah. It's almost like that person next to you who you didn't know is checking in all the way from Toledo, and outside their window, their kids are trying to play. They're actually arguing, but that's what I did with my sister. I don't know about you and kids when you were a kid, but go ahead and fill that chat thread. And this is going to be our energy throughout this bout. If you had a chance to check out the other prelim bouts, you already have a sense of how this move is going to happen, how this lightning is about to come through your screen. But if you're joining us for the first and our last prelim bout of the virtual festival, the chat thread is where you still get to create the energy as if we are all here together, because this is going to be our future, y'all. So we are all here together. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we have this coming through. Let's go ahead and keep this party moving. I want to welcome everybody to this virtual Women of the World Poetry Slam. Today is Saturday, April 2nd, 2022. And my name, again, is Dasha Kelly Hamilton. I'm going to be your host for this bout. This is a virtual space, and this virtual space honors all women identifying poets to lift their voices and celebrate each and every poet who's competing today. We want our poets to feel your energy. So be sure to give it up for all of the poets by commenting in the chat. And so let's show some love. So I see you're already filling up. We already have that warmed up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, Dasha Kelly Hamilton. I will also like to point out that our bout manager for this bout is also serving as a festival director. We got Sister Kat McGill over there making sure everything is dotted and crossed and in order. And I just want us to all give us just a quick second, not even a moment of silence because things are going away, but just a moment of quiet awe. Thank you, Sister Kat. That's a moment of quiet awe. But right now, she's bout manager in addition to all the other hats that she wears, making sure this train stays on its tracks. So thank you very much for making all of this happen. So our timekeeper and our scorekeeper for the bout is Sasha. And so she's going to be recording all the scores from our judges. So a shout out to all of the volunteers like Sasha and Kat and you who make this happen. So I want to go over a few housekeeping things before we get started, because there's always a rule, and not the rules that keep us in a box, but making sure the box doesn't fall off the bench. So we are all responsible for the energy of this virtual space. So when I say we, I mean me, I mean you as a viewer, I mean you as a poet, I mean you back there who's pretending like you're not listening, but you like poetry after all. We all are keeping this space healthy, vibrant, and safe. Your comments do matter and are a huge part of the experience. So again, filling up that fire in the chat thread keeps the energy going, keeps the thread in community by itself. And also be mindful that these words that you put out are going to affect someone else's experience. So all of us have a responsibility to make sure that we operate on the highest vibrations. Remember, lead with love first, because our internet security ain't no game either. So anyway, at the end of each poem, our scorekeeper is going to collect the scores from our pre-selected judges in our virtual audience. Please pause your comments while we collect the scores. If you are not one of our pre-selected judges, doesn't that sound like you would know already? Don't throw up a score. April Fool's is yesterday. Don't play. We have some serious business we're about here today. So be sure to visit WOWPS Fest, WOWPS Fest.com for other links and about particularly our finals, which is what we have left after this particular bout. All right. How this slam is going to work. Poets have a limited amount of time to present their work. The judges will then score the piece anywhere from a 0 to 10. 0 being a poem that might have should have stayed in their journal for a little bit longer. 10 being a poem that rearranges your molecular structure. We're going to evaluate these poems based on performance, content, and originality. The high and low scores from each performance are tossed, and the middle 3 scores are added up, giving the performer their score. Points are deducted for violating the time limit. Tonight, we have 3 rounds with 3 different time limits. We have a 4-minute round, a 1-minute round, and a 2-minute round. We beseech the judges, because poets, we believe in all the words. We ain't asking, we're not insisting, beseeching the judges to remain unswayed by the audience, because, what do they know? Audience, you know everything. So do everything you can to sway these judges. They are also watching your comments in the thread. We want to keep them on their toes and keep them on point. So each score by the poet is judged by the same set of criteria. And they're going to do their best to ignore your boisterous reaction and your judgment. Try it as though they might, but the truth is we randomly pick them. They don't know. You're the ones who know. So we are working in all of this together. Audience, be sure to let the judges know and the poets know how you feel about the job they're doing. So in addition to giving feedback to the judges, you may pull out one quote, one line, one amazing bit of language that moved you from the poet, and you can put that in the spread in the chat thread as well. There's no show without the judges and the poets and also you, audience. So before we get to what you're going to do, I want to introduce you to the judges. Our judges for this particular bout, we have Carolyn Robinson. Maybe throwing up a emoji sign, a little handshake. Erica Jones Bryant. We have Mr. Joseph Tucker. Shalina Farmer. And Ashley Ray. 5 more humans who took time out of their Saturday to lend their time, talent, and observation to an incredible, incredible roster of poets. So additionally, I want to tell you who these poets are. Make sure I get all of their names up in the space. We have Sister Kennedy Lachey. We have Purpose. We have Verse, Goddess Timani Rain, Lucky, Tierra Nicole, and Alex the Great. So want to make sure we pause for a moment and just focus in. I want to say this so we all have it at the outset. Tonight's poems may deal with difficult subjects. And if you need to log off or put your computer on mute or step away from your computer altogether, please do that. Please do that. We want you to take care of yourselves first. So if there's a trigger that sits you in a space of discomfort, we want you to make sure that you are adjusting your comfort so that you can stay with us and come back later. Or if maybe you have to call it a day and there'll be no love lost, because the most important thing is to know that we are sharing art and space. And even in us sharing, you have to make sure you take care of you first. We can't guarantee a safe space, but this is a brave space. So in the face of someone else's bravery, if that imposes on your safety, please remove yourself from the space and come back if and when you are ready. We can't guarantee that things won't happen, but we will promise to make sure that we're working together to disrupt any oppression in this space. All right. So I think that's all the housekeeping. I think those are the rules. You got everything in place. Who's ready to start this slam? No, you're not. You thought you were ready. We ain't ready. We can't start this slam until we spill a little bit of blood. Oh, I'm sorry for the uninitiated. We're not really murdering people on television. What we're doing, it is a calibration poet. So it's a poet who's going to sacrifice their art and their words to give the judges a chance to calibrate, get a sense of how they're going to move forward in this slam. So I want to ask you to do another thing, audience. So you also have a job to do. We talked about the chat thread. We talked about leading with love. We talked about being engaged and being focused. We're also, y'all, We're going to be co-DJs. So what we want to make sure that doesn't happen, and we've all been in this social space for a long time, you have this dope little post that you made, you put it up, and the platform snatches it down because you were using some music that didn't belong to you. I know, legality and art, who'd thunk it? So we're going to be mindful that the archive of this event doesn't get pulled down because we've used music that we don't have permission to use. But usually we know that there's music that goes with this experience. So you and me, we're all DJs in that imaginary way. So I want you to start thinking about the songs that you would queue up after each piece, right? So you're the DJ. What would you drop? I know, what better way to become a DJ than not actually have to spin records? So you with the encyclopedia book of music, this is your chance. All right, so we have our things going. We are bing, 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 bing. To the judges, again, this calibration poet means you're going to listen to this poet. You're going to judge the poem as if there was part of the competition. And remember the score that you give this poem, because every poem you hear in this round afterwards, this is going to be your benchmark of what score to give the poems that follow. And there'll be a calibration poet before each of the rounds. So we'll have a chance to reset and get it right. Reset and get it grovy. Reset and be amazing. Are we ready? I feel like we're ready. I feel like we might be ready. Poets, remember when you come on, do your mic check before I go off the screen, because once I go off the screen, the time is yours. Like literally, the time is yours. You know what happens when you go overtime. We don't want that to happen today. Here we go. Audience is ready. Our poets are ready. Your host is ready.
That the most disrespect.
Here's our first calibration poet.
See, Malcolm told him that the most disrespected person in America be me. So tell me, where's the lie? They have been burning us at the stake for years, but this time we will resurrect from the ashes, filled with combustion, ready to set you ablaze and watch us dance in the fire. Collect your bones and teeth. Cast a spell on your trust fund. Remove the food from the mouths of your privileged sons and daughters and bring back the angry spirits of slave women and crack babies from the 80s to haunt your country clubs and mansions. But oh man, son, you wouldn't like that, would you? At least not that kind of sorcery, not that kind of magic. But turn a blind eye to the kind of magic where 64,000 black women and girls disappear in front of an audience and no one around even asks for an encore. I guess the magician never reveals their secrets. So what a girl to do with all this power? How am I too much but never enough in the same sentence? You know, a white woman asked me once if I was a magical feminist. I say, was I not made to be one? I mean, I be on the front lines for everyone else's protests and wars, so wear your battle scars from my fight. I heard a black man say once, I like my women like my coffee, you know, black and bitter. And he yelled out the loudest cackle from the back of his throat. And ironically, I watched this black huntsman grab his Snow White by the waist while I dwarfed down the sides just to make them feel comfortable. Just to show them that I ain't dopey, sleazy, or even grumpy, but damn it, if I still ain't a bit of black witch, because black lives matter, or black men matter more. But word to your mama, it was the black life that made you. Do we not disappear in front of an audience enough for you? They keep burning us at the stake. They don't understand this kind of sorcery, this kind of voodoo. How you work and twerk? How you corporate in Compton? How you mama and Millie rocking? How you lace front and locking if I had a dime for every time? They don't understand how you survived. I mean, didn't we just kill you? But my ancestors won't let me rest. Too much vibranium beating hard out my chest, because we don't die, we multiply. Cut off my head and watch another Maya, Tony, Zora take his place. Understand, I love that my blackness chooses me. I proudly wear my classy, rich, ratchet, and bougie. This honey child ain't no man-made silicone or a ball persona. This is the language you can't learn. We speak authentic and joy, pain, survival, and trauma. Fluent in Meg Thee Stallion and Michelle Obama. So talk to me nice. Don't you know I'll cast a spell on you? Don't you know you alive now because your granny cashed in all her prayers on you? We are tired of asking for respect that's been due. No more questions, only demands. So you can either kumbaya with me and catch this sage, or you can try me, bitch, and catch these hands. We break bread over the forgotten and drink the blood in remembrance of them, in remembrance of Corinne, Tatiana, Sandra, Miriam, Brianna, and the countless women whose names we will never know. So lock arms, sisters, and cover ourselves at the last word of Fannie Lou Hamer and decider. But remember, if they kill us, if they still kill us, turn this shit into a disco inferno and light the roof on fire. Cause we don't need no water. Let this motherfucker burn, baby. Burn.
Because sometimes shit gotta get burnt up with a T at the end. Y'all, make it happen. I hope that chat is going crazy. Make it happen for that calibration poet. Oh my goodness, y'all. If this is how we start in, yeah, you cut off some consonants with words like that. If this is how we start in, y'all are in for an incredible treat. Y'all are in for a credible treat. So judges, you're doing what you do. You're adding your numbers into that thread. And then our bout managers are going to put it across the screen. But I just need to know, really, you need to know about working and twerking? I took a twerk class. I did. Now you would think just naturally we all have it, but I appreciate people who are experts in their field. So we brought an expert from the field, and for those of you that know me, I am huge on birthdays. So, and I want everyone out there to do this for yourself. Every year, my birthday is Dasha Fest. You're welcome. Get one for yourself. Now, I celebrate all month. Now, a month may be too long to start. Maybe you want to start with a weekend, start with a full week. But I spend the whole month of October being alive on purpose. Yeah. So I try something new. I connect with someone I haven't talked to in too long. I do some kind of performance. I hang out with my women's. And I also work on at least one habit. Can't fix everything. Got to do just one. So last year, my new thing, 2 years ago, we did a virtual twerk class. I know. You thought you were twerking, but if you ain't using your ankles, you ain't doing it right. So we have our judges, our scores coming through. We have a 9.0, a 9.3, a 9.2, an 8.9, and an 8.8. Right now, in your thread, in your spirit, you are giving it up for our poets. Thank you, our calibration poet, for getting us started. Now we are into this slam. Our poets are so ready. Sister Kennedy, you are on deck. But the first poet making their way to the screen, y'all, make it happen for Goddess Tiami Rain. Get your mic check, sis.
Mic check. Once upon a time, I knew I'd be an entertainer, a poet, a dancer, an actress. On page 13, I realized pigmented people don't make the end of the movie. They're first to call the plot twist, caught in crossfire climax. Unless you're TT, Cleo, Kane, or Ricky, that tragedy has no meaning. Ironically, we act the same in society. Desensitized to being systematic targets, yet scream at skies when our hands control the bullets. Immortalized on a t-shirt and candle lighting round phone poles are the new funeral service. Ain't no church in murder. Tell me how great is a God allowing their greatest creation to die cold on pavement. I've seen this film one, too many times, but I wanted to be an actress. If I get casted in the next casket, make sure you share the video. That B-movie quality will have enough evidence to disregard any mental health record or past criminal charge. Share the video. The media won't show I'm no coward, or how I panicked when frantic trying to breathe, felt my vertebrae snap when I screamed, "Where's my mother?" Show her the video. She'll gather memories before press points trigger finger saying I ran the street. She'll tell them I wrote every day. Angry alliterations cured my writer's block. She was my inspiration. I sang so loud she hid my Alicia Keys CDs. Didn't realize the world will never know my name, and I danced under ceiling fans. She watched wind in my movements take me to another dimension. She won't forget to mention how I acted. I acted like my smiles were easy to wear, like eyes didn't flood with raging fear, imagining white supremacy's blood on my hands. They were intimidated. My mentality blends ex, Shakur, sojourner. The truth shall set me free. I am a healer, disguised as a gypsy, and they see a witch, afraid of black girl magic. In 1693, I'd be burned at a stake. Today, I'd be lynched. Nothing's changed. If I die young, it was by someone else's hand, gun, a sacrifice for my father, my brother, my lovers, my son. Make me a movement. I want to rest in reparations, not peace. Throw me a twerk party for 40 days, 40 nights, get more than 40 acres and a mule. It's only right. I write my eulogy in case I don't have a case without a camera. If my death is a dishonor to my life, share the video. Control the narrative. The only difference between suicide and martyrdom is press coverage, but if our only coverage is crucifixion, show them God. Show them how grandma's hands made miracles, birthed a womb full of generations, turn Polaroids to Instagram posts, tell them black don't crack. We are more than death and incarceration. The Reagan era ain't got shit on us. Tell them, televise the revolution. We are not the children of sorcerers you forgot to burn. We are spirits of the ones that you did. And we remember. We always reincarnate.
You're coming back. You're coming back. You are a spirit. You are a spirit, and you are coming back. Thank you much to that poet. Thank you much to that poet. I have to tell you, my husband teases me all the time because I'll drive past those phone tributes and my teeth will clench. So part of it is, one, there are too many. I drive by too many. Second, there's got to be something else besides the teddy bears and wrapped around the poles. And he reminds me, we worship where we can, how we do, without permission. And it helps me reel it in. It helps me reel it in. So we are all going to be these spirits, and we're going to be recognized and celebrated and reminded that there is ancient knowing in our blood. Knowing in our blood, and we will return. You will return. Oh, most excellent. I really appreciate having those stories in front of us. And the idea about our grandmother's hands, this is a poetry challenge for you out there. What did grandma's hands make? Yeah? What did grandma's hands make? Put it in the chat. Make yourself a note. That's a poem for you to write later. We have our first bit of scores. We have an 8.9. We have an 8.3. We have a 7.8. And a 10. Most excellent. All right. Whoo! We're doing this. We're into this thing. Our next poet's coming through. Alex, you are on deck. Our next poet. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The full score for our SAC poet was. Oh, I know y'all didn't expect me to do math. It's not in my ministry. So we're going to keep this thing moving. So, Alex, you are on deck. Our poet making their way to the stage right now. Y'all give it up for Kennedy Lachey. Oh, we're missing a score? Hold, Kennedy. We're going to go through them again. 8.9, 8.3, 7.8, 10, and 9.6. The beautiful part, when you have a community and folks know how this is going, we are all making sure we are keeping this on track together. Thank you, poets. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. So all of our judges, I'm looking for any. All right, we are good to go. Now we are ready to bring Sister Kennedy to the stage. Y'all give it up for Kennedy Lachey. Hit your mic check, sis.
Mic check. They be asking me how I do this, and I can't tell for free. So usually I'd say, don't sweat the technique. But today, I suppose I'm willing to give you an opportunity to study the game at my feet. I'm going to tell you how to be a great poet. To be a great poet, you've gotta go through some shit. You've gotta grow through some shit. You've gotta cry through some shit. Try through some shit, damn near die through some shit, crawl, cause it's too hard to walk through some shit. Being a great poet is remembering to write in a breath, cause otherwise you'd forget to exhale. Being a great poet is nothing if not having immaculate repetition, saying the same thing over and over and over again until you believe it. It is making the crowd believe you do, even when you don't, especially when you don't. It is writing when you feel like you can't write no fucking more. It is speaking to from your heart. It is speaking from your heart. It is speaking to the void. It is writing when you feel like you can't write no fucking more. Being a poet is realizing you've told the same story in several ways and having the balls to tell it again, cause somebody still needs to hear that shit. It is speaking to the void. It is speaking from your heart. It is being your most vulnerable self every time you speak. It is bearing your soul, even though some niggas will have the gall to tell you that you don't. Call your words water in order to dismiss their flow. Say your shit don't blend right. Offer their notes in criticism as if you need to study them like you don't do this shit. Say your pen ain't heavy enough as if that word told more weight. It is to perform your eulogy every time you get on stage. It is telling yourself you will not die even though you feel dead inside. It is having the balls to convince yourself that you'll live on forever, have everlasting life. It is to make yourself a legend. Look, mama, I made myself a legend. It is telling yourself you will not perish. It is telling yourself you are nothing if not phoenix rising from ashes. It is knowing you still ain't wrote your best poem. It is knowing you gonna save somebody with your next poem. It is painting yourself superhero. It is saving you this time. It is writing yourself into freedom. It is having the balls to say they gon' fucking remember me. It is more than your go-to collection of trauma poems. It is understanding your trauma poems ain't just for you no more. It is mending messes and massacres to mold a message. It is telling your test to manifest testimony. It is taking on the weight, the honor, and the privilege of speaking for somebody that can't, cause you remember what the fuck it feel like to be somebody that can't. It is making yourself immortal every time you pick up a pen. It is knowing your soul ain't worth no fucking 10, but for the record, babe, this poem is a fucking 10. It is feeling like you can't do it no more and doing this shit again and again and again. It is an honor to have taught you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. An honor to have taught you. And that's the way it needs to feel, good people, when you share your words. It is an honor going both ways. One of the things that I always tell my students, and whether that's young people or not so young people, is that every single time you share your words in the public, it's particularly as a poem to an audience, there's someone in that space who needed to hear it, right? They either needed to hear exactly what you said, they needed to hear you say it, someone like you say it. They needed to hear that those type of words could even be said out loud. So you never know the why, but just know there's always every time someone who needed, even if they didn't know it, needed to hear what you had to say. And guess what? Like the sister said, they are fucking going to remember you. Maybe not you, but that thing you planted in them. So please continue to stay true to your language, to your words, to those scribbles. And it's so hard, I know, in these contexts to not look at your scribbles and want them all to be grow up and be 10 poems. Sometimes those scribbles are just making sense of this world, which you can help somebody else look at their own. So this is ministry that we're doing and fire. We have our first set of scores. We have a 10. We have a 9.9. We have a 10, a 9.2, an 8.9, Is that 5? Oh, let me tell you about math. Let me tell you about math. So not what I do. Let me tell you about this fan. Hormones are stupid. Hey, women, y'all feel me? Only 4 judges, 1 more. We got a 10. We got a 9.9. We have a 10. We have a 9.2. We have an 8.9. Feel like we're still missing somebody. That's everybody? That's everybody? That's good? We're ready? We're going to rock it out? I'm going to let the scorekeepers do their fancy slam mathematics. And we have Verse, who's on deck, but coming to the virtual screen next. Y'all make it happen for Alex the Great. Mic check for me.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. How I denounce my blackness daily, or tales from a black woman working in higher ed, or when white privilege and black privilege collide. Stupid ass motherfuckers keep trying to antagonize me. I make excuses for them, pass off their ignorance as just innocent curiosity. But why they gotta complicate my life? Like me being black, woman, and alive ain't enough for me to have to analyze. See, I'm inclined to believe that questions like these don't find them sitting up at night. They don't constantly have to use their brain as a filter to sift their thoughts through instead of their mouth. Too often I get choked up on what I should be saying. Why am I in charge of your feelings? Trying so hard not to step on your privilege. I'm just floating by, placing awkward laughs where the awkward silence used to be, but it ain't shit funny. So, to the white woman who asked me what my bruises look like, presumably in comparison to the color of hers. Dare I say I was too taken aback to give you a proper response then, but the fact that you even thought it okay to ask me some shit like that, white privilege. The fact that you only asked and didn't carry out the act to see it, black privilege. See, unlike you, I have to live this. Attempt to navigate the minute space between birth and funeral, a smile and a tear, one moment and the next my bruises look like the Atlantic Ocean parted open and swallowed 3 million bodies in its belly. My bruises look like the ring being the only ID Emmett Till's corpse could carry. My bruises like a whip, lashing amnesia into Toby, forgetting his name was Kunta. 1 foot, bullet to the head, broken ribs, gouged eyes, severed tongue, sound like a horror movie. But that's Mamie Till's story, Sabrina Fulton's story, Coretta Scott King's story. It's my testimony. This body be the pulpit. This life is a sermon. My bruises look like having to teach you this, like the souls of black folk, double consciousness. See, the fact that you spend your whole life making a living, white privilege. The fact that I spend my whole life thinking about dying, black privilege, but you want to know what my bruises look like? Like me being black, woman, and alive, and enough for me to have to analyze. My bruises look like this moment, like me channeling all this rage in a paper and pen instead of your face and my fist. My bruises look like Trayvon Martin, look like I'm regurgitating on 400 years of oppression. My bruises look like Selma, Minneapolis, Baltimore, Ferguson, like Oakland. Look like I'm burning, man. Can't you see a body on fire? And you just stand there with that silly ass grin on your face, dousing more fuel on the flames. This here ain't easy, man. This living is a constant challenge. This blackness is beautiful. It's a shame I can only go to the mirror to see it. The fact that you tell stories about your 3 little children, white privilege. The fact that I wrestled with naming mine beloved, black privilege. My bruises like I bite my tongue so hard last night, I almost swallowed it. My hands stay at 10 and 2. I make no sudden movements. My bruises look like Sandra Bland, a hashtag. Like the police can turn my eulogy into a suicide note. Look like Texas rewriting history to call slaves workers and the slave trade a migration riddle. What is another word for a black family reunion? A graveyard. I am always the butt of all jokes. The fact that you got something to laugh about, white privilege. The fact that I got something to smile about, black privilege. You ask me what my bruises look like. The fact that you don't see the irony, white privilege. The fact that I'm standing here as the evidence, black privilege. Because if a black body ain't the most obvious example of scarring, then healing, then truly, I can't tell you what is.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for you out here standing as evidence of healing. Look at you standing as evidence of healing. And it doesn't always look like that, feel like people see you as walking healing. But every step you take, just know that that's what you are walking towards. Have that in your chest. Look at you. I love that language. And everybody who's had that moment of that awkward silence and that awkward laughing, we're all humans. Don't judge you. I know we can drive at that. She said like at 10 and 2 going, I should have said, I can't believe. You can be caught off guard. You don't have to bring down the firebolt. Don't have to launch into a civics lesson. You are allowed to be human and be taken aback and be insulted and have your feelings hurt and regather yourself and come back and decide what that moment needs to be for both of you. Is it a teachable moment or is it awkward? Yeah, that silence, we both needed that. So use silence how you need to. Use silence how you need to. Black privilege. I love that. I love that. The idea, the reminder that we have it too. I mean, every group, every personality, every profile has a particular level of privilege. Leverage that. Exercise that. All those pieces out here being glory. We have our first set of scores. We have an 8.7. Look at me counting them off now so I know we got them or not. We have a 9.3. We have a 9.7. We have an 8.5. And we have a 9.3. Oh, we can count to 5. Look at me. I may not be bad at math after all. Check it out. Downgrading myself. I be tripping sometimes. All right, we're going to keep this party moving. We have Lucky on deck. Verse, you are next to the screen.
I don't think we have Verse right now. I'm checking to see if she's back.
All right. All right. That's all right. These things happen. Verse might be, taking care of a little bio management. Maybe had to let the dog out. We're all in our homes, in our personal spaces, and things are happening. Kids running around. I told you I got snow happening out the window. I need to refill my mug. I understand. So we're going to give Verse a hot second to make their way back. Make their way back. Make their way back. All right. Let me tell you what I was doing today. In addition to April being National Poetry Month, Merry National Poetry Month to everybody, April is also SAM, SAAM, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So this is another month for us to stay in conversation around the conversations we don't always fall into too quickly. And what I want to offer is that this is also a chance to not only recognize our thrivers, acknowledge the systems that have us having survivors in the first place. It's a chance to always also be present and to expand the conversations that we always have around this topic. So, for example, I have there's a panel that's coming up. We were having this conversation about male survivors. Hold on, not what you're thinking. Yes, we want to hold space for these brothers as well. But the conversation about men, boys, who don't know, who aren't given the language of being assaulted. And what are we talking about? We are talking about that brother who was 16 and was hit on by a 27-year-old. That is assault. I know. So we don't. My husband, who also does this work, makes a good point. We were talking about this watching a comic, saying, "Hey, there's no way that he can go into and talk to a little girl, a little toddler, and saying, there go my little girlfriend." But we get to do it all the time. Look at my little boyfriend. And many of us are evolved and attentive and minding those spaces. But this is a month to give an example of how all of us can dive in these conversations. Every hot topic that we're about, there's another side, another dimension, another opportunity to really feed ourselves. Because often we'll just go by what we already know, the stats we've already committed, the podcasts we've already listened to. But there's always someone who has a perspective or a gift that's going to just expand what you think you know. So I am not sure if Sister Verse is having digital issues. We just know that right now they're not here. I am proposing that we move forward. Excellent. So that means that on deck is going to be Sister Tierra Nicole, and up to the space now, we've got Lucky. Can you with the mic check?
Yeah.
Yeah, high five. You got it.
Yes, ma'am. Ladies, what if we told our stories? What if we used our voices from the tops of mountains shouting, we are tired of your nonsense, you won't silence us? Since when did our power become a question? Since when did our presence become unnecessary? It's necessary for me to be this loud and not care what you'll allow me to do. Not care if my woman offends you, if my sassiness is killing your vibe. I hope you don't think I'm going to apologize, because there's no need, because everything I am is everything you need. But it's cool. I understand you not seeing what's right in front of you, but just because you don't see me doesn't make me any less of a queen or magical. But y'all know people will try it, get to saying shit like she can't possibly be magic. When I touch, there's no glitter on my fingertips, like Instagram said. She can't possibly have a man because it ain't bags of Vicky and heel figure all over her bed. She can't possibly know God. She don't know Romans 2:3 off the top of her head. She can't be natural. She don't use Shea Moisture products. Can't be popping because it ain't 5 stacks in the pocket. She can't possibly have the juice because when her phone rings, she answers. See, she could never be magic, at least not by our standards. And so, ladies, riddle me this. Why are we still trying to fit in these boxes when we know they don't fit? Like you and I both know that shit ain't big enough. So it's about time that we stand in the mirror and remind ourselves that we got the stuff and that society's got it messed up, telling us we can't be bad if we ain't all dressed up. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I almost believed them. So I had to do a self-esteem check and remind myself that I possess beauty and magic regardless of the internet. I've been on this journey and I want you to follow me because lately I've been feeling organic. Like these vibrations, I'm giving out a magic and my past can't have it. Lately, I've been feeling beautiful. Like the rose that grew from concrete. I'm finna make it out the streets and get a degree with some J's on my feet cause lately I've been feeling good. Like the kind of good morning, waking up next to my man and he rolling, passing me the J while I'm still yawning. I'm going in cause lately, I've been feeling open to opportunity and opposition. A lot of pain has put me in this position, but I be positioned, purposefully placed in this divine disposition. I be this position, passing out free applications like birch, fir, palm, evergreen. Like you could plant as many trees as you like, but no matter how much shade you throw, my future still gonna be bright because I be bright. The light like shine, a light like feather. This bird is ready to fly. Where she's going, she sees no limit, no sky. She's thinking universal. Michael Bay, Steven Spielberg, these motion pictures be legendary. Her Jurassic World will transform to a Jetsons kind of future extraordinary, more like unheard of, because I be unheard of. Like having a dream or receiving a blessing in disguise. I be that thing in front of your face you could see if you just open your eyes. I'll be great. I'll be cool, no aid. I'll be one of one. I'll be ace of spade. I'll be that joker in your hand and it's the last card in the game because I win the game. Look myself in the mirror and no longer see shame. Don't have to point any fingers or place any blame because that's for lames. And besides, I surrendered all my problems to God and she's paving my lane. I'm walking in this greatness and I'm using my brain. Oh, I got a brain because I be smart. I'm poet. I'm art, I'm love, I'm queen, I'm fresh, I'm clean. I'll be your sister and your friend. I'll defend you to the end. Be your rider and your fighter. You the candle, I'm your lighter, because I'm free. Because I'm me, because I'm lucky. Peace.
Out here getting a degree with J's on my feet is what the woman said. That's what we doing out here. Did you buy into some of that? Did you almost believe it too? I did. I know I did. You got to do this. You got to look like that. You got to move this way, but over here only. And what else do you know except this is what the plan was? And then you get into the middle of that plan, the beginning of that plan. You're like, this plan don't even make sense for the way my goddess is set up. So this is what the magic is. Yeah. The magic is figuring out how it is you commune with all those other worldly parts of you. You can show up all the way as you. And all they had were notes. And they were given notes that were handed down from them. And then you get to take those notes, turn it into origami, wear them as earrings, and figure out how you get to move too. That was the gospel right here. I know that you believed in it too. Thank all of you for being here and figuring out what you needed outside of what they said you were supposed to do. Oh, look at us making poems off the rip for no reason at all. We have our first set of scores we're going to hear first. We got a 9.3, a 10, a 10, a 9.3, All my people checking out. Was that 4? Was that 5? They just told me to bring all of my personality. Definitely not to count. We got a 9.5. That last. Boom! All right. Those are all the judges. Those are all the scores. We are cranking through. We have a few more voices in this particular round. Purpose, you are on deck. Next, we are going to hear from Tierra Nicole. Nope. You were so close.
1 2 1 2. My check.
There we go.
Tell me why. Is it so? I remember when you didn't give a damn. I remember when shit got swept under the rug. We been having to get it out the mud. Back in the days when I was young, they didn't tell us that Pepe Le Pew was a Cree. They said he was aggressive, and we rolled with it. But now he promotes rape culture. WOWPS inappropriate. But I remember the first time I got in trouble for singing about corn. Slob on my knob like corn on the cob. Had to get grown to realize, simply put, these kids are soft. And I blame all the mixed messages that we've received over the decades. I can't keep up with the shit. Do I tell my son that there's no such thing as Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy? I mean, I could keep telling him that the Tooth Fairy is broke. Hell, I don't know. All I know is that he's not supposed to have a care in the world. But I always feel like somebody's watching me, hovering. I've never had an older brother, but they tell me that it's big brother watching me. Surveillance comes with preconceived notions because he black. In America, born during the prime of Skittles and Arizona teas, neighborhood vigilantes, I was 21. The very first time I stood staring down the barrel of a gun held by the police, and my son, 8 years old, comes to my shoulder already, and if you didn't hear him speak, you would probably think he was older than he actually appears to be, and that terrifies me. Constantly looking over my shoulder like somebody's watching me. And if they're protecting, providing, I can't tell the difference. My son coming home from school one day, he told me he didn't want to grow up. I forgot how old he was and said, why? Because you a Toys R Us kid? And he looked at me strange. I smiled, but deep down wanted to shed a thug tear because kids would never know. Kids are going through a lot more than we did. And my childhood was the shit. If I be honest, I can remember the times. But I find myself wondering if I can give my son the same ones. I tried my best, but society's foot is on my neck. Everything's a problem. All of a sudden, they give a damn. Kids can't be kids no more, and I always feel like somebody's watching me, stalking me, critiquing my movements, the decisions I make. And I quit trying to keep up with it. I'd rather cherish the moments as they come. I can't think about what tomorrow is going to bring because it's stressful. Parental anxiety is real. And I always feel like somebody's watching me, waiting on me to fuck up. But I swallow that shit every morning because there is someone watching me. And those eyes are the only eyes that truly matter. Fuck y'all.
What'd you say? Not hearing it. What'd you have to say? Fuck you. Huh? Not today. Why? Why? Because I got somebody watching me. I got legacy watching me. I've got these seeds watching me. Oh, for all the parents, and even if you're not a parent, you can appreciate the idea that there is constantly the most important souls with their eyes on you. How do you behave in the store when that comment is made? How do you step up and stand in the gap for people who aren't being heard? How do you respond to the atrocities happening on the news screen? How do you demonstrate that you're available, that you're vulnerable, that you love them, that you're eating all your kale? It's a lot, y'all, just to be alive in this moment and to be alive for future moments because we got people watching us. It's also the glory of that parental anxiety. I'm going to invite us all to swap out anxiety for gift. It's heavy is the crown or whatever that biblical, because I'm one of them heathen folks, but you get the point. We get to walk in grace and we get to walk in power, and we're going to stumble sometimes, you mortal you, and they get to watch you do that too. How do you stumble? How do you get up? How do you thank the folks that help you? And how do you even acknowledge the people that made you fall? We have people watching us and everybody else. So the hell what? Excellent. Thank you so much. We have our first score. We have a 9.5. We have an 8.8. We have a 9.5, an 8.8. and an 8.8. Thank you, judges, for coming through. We are going to our last voice in this round. We are going to ask Purpose to make their way to the stage.
Mic check. In response to the question, what's your number? Oh, darling, I don't count bodies, I collect them. The organ that has you worried is experienced. This clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings, can be stimulated from the outside and inside. Orgasms multiple times, is ageless. The more you use it, the better it gets. Sustains wetness, is a self-cleaning thing, does not need your approval to be saved, sanctified, or holy. You will not use your filthy rag morality to judge me. Pretend to be a high-value man. I will ask you the escort services where you currently use your currency. I'm not property, but metaphorically speaking, are you asking how many people have lived in this house or how many were just passing through? As if a house that has had house parties has a devalued value. After all, my curbside appeal caught you. Are you trying to figure out what my standards are? Like, after I tell you what my number is, are you going to ask me the median income of all the men, how many of them had college educations, postgraduate degrees, where they worked, who they were, if they have their original teeth, dental implants, cavities, if they got 401ks, IRAs, credit cards, checking accounts, hide their money under the mattress? Oh, I get it. This is just a fancy way of asking me if they put money in my accounts or on a nightstand. You want to know if I got that fire, if I got that killer, if my lower lips have written eulogies. You trying to figure out about their hygiene, ain't you? You want to know if they kept their fingernails clean or what kind of soap they used or where I got that move. I get it. You want me to know what to do, but not be so experienced as to outdo you. But I tell you what this mouth do. I'm a truth teller. I even orgasm honest. You a bootleg scientist wanting quantitative numbers without qualitative analysis, and it all matters. The long-term relationships, the homies, the one nights, the sometimes. But if I told you rape and molestation were a part of this number, you try to diagnose presumed promiscuity. I'm going to save you the brain work. I do what the hell I want. I've said yes with consent. Yes, while coerced. Yes, inebriated. Yes, sober. I've said no and stayed. No one had to run. No in the presence of a gun. No one fought. No one been punched. I said yes, even inside of relationships. Then been fully grieved and distraught. And at the end of all this, you still gonna be more pissed about how many times I said yes than the times my no was ignored. You ain't even asked who or if I'm dealing with anyone right now. So the fuck are you asking for? But since you asked, I'm an OG at this. These lips have sucked the depression right up out of Dick, stands at attention and bows before the queen's hips, giving release and rejuvenation between life-saving thighs. These breasts have nurtured nations. My love is revolutionary. I've martyred this pussy so niggas could say they killed it. I am not a whore, hoe, or a sex worker. Though it wouldn't matter if I was. I am a healthy, disease-free, unattached, grown-ass woman. I'm a lover. I've had lovers. And I was willing to consider you, but it seems that's not what you into, so a real conversation isn't due. So as far as it concerns you, what's my number? I'm a virgin.
Let's talk about my clitoris, though. I mean, just right quick. I mean, there's ain't nothing right quick about it, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about my clitoris, though. Where are you going? You don't want to talk about my clitoris, though? We don't want to have a conversation? Oh, We got to be silent and sexual. It is 2022. Why are we still doing this? I know. Hello, patriarchy. How are you doing? This is all the conversation I love to have. This sister said house parties. It has to happen sometimes. It has to happen sometimes. Talking about these life-saving thighs and what this mouth do? None ya, unless it's about you. And I invite everyone, oh my goodness, everyone to claim this sexual part of ourselves. And it is work still, this thing that's so natural still. So this is you and what you do for you, and always make it for you. Always make it for you, because this is the full spectrum of the human experience, includes getting naked and sweaty and slick. Earned that, deserve that. And I love to hear poems about that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. Our first set of scores, we have a 10. We have a 10. We have a 10. We have a 10. One more, right? One more, right? Who else want to talk about that clitoris? And a 10. We got a 10 for the clitoris. Y'all give it up for the clit, for that poet, and for round one. Right now, remember I asked you to join this experience audience. You are now the collective DJ. What song would you drop if you were on the ones and twos right now? Drop it in the thread. Drop it in the thread. How we're getting our poets together. We have a different order for this second round. And this second round is our 1 minute round. So this is not the time to refresh your drink, to get more popcorn, or go to the bathroom. You gon' miss it. So in the thread, what song would you drop right now? While you're getting that together, audience, purpose, you are on deck. And the first poet in the second round, we have Sister Kennedy. Here we go. Oh, I lied. No, we don't. We're going to do a sack poet again for this round. Your host be tripping sometimes, but we're all back because we're in this together. Thank you, Adam. Here's our sack poet for round two.
Once, my father turned my cheek into a field of roses. The first boy I ever loved did the same. I knew to apologize. Oh, the art of practicing what you have been taught. The first boy I ever loved did the same. His mama's body, a constant flower bed. His home, a hostel for gardeners. Oh, the art of practicing what you have been taught. After all, he was learning to uproot earth from men with experience. His mama's body, a constant flower bed. His home, a hostel for gardeners. They said, can you blame him? After all, he was learning to uproot earth from men with experience. I do not know what man to trace my apologies back to. They said, can you blame him? I knew to apologize. I do not know what man to trace my apologies back to, but once my father turned my cheek into a field of roses.
I know. All of that poem in that little bit of space. All of that poem in that little bit of space. All of that healing in that little bit of space. We didn't come here to play with y'all. These poets didn't come in here just spitting out words that are cute. These poets are on their God mission, y'all. One poem, one healing, one heart. And if you have these words that are finding their way to you, blessing to these words and cherishing you too. All right, judges, you're going to give us some scores for that poem. And remember, with the score you give this poem is going to help guide you through this round. We get to refresh and reset. Refresh and reset. Just like the sister's poem gave us a chance to refresh and reset. We're going to breathe in. And let that piece out. Our first score is a 9. This is me bobbing to the songs that y'all put in the thread. Y'all, okay. Some of y'all DJ on the side. Okay, you have a great Spotify playlist, but that still counts. Don't let anybody tell you it don't count. It don't count. We have an 8.5. I believe our judges are taking their deep breaths too. We have a 9.5, an 8.8, as these tags come across, you're also going to see a tag for an opportunity. I'm using that word on purpose, an opportunity to donate to this festival. Yeah, of course you want to. You're sitting there, you're watching it from the freedom of YouTube, but we have a whole organization and a whole cast of volunteers and organizations that made this happen. We want to do it again next year. Our next score is a 9.0. That's all of them? All right. Thank you very much. Moving into this. So for the second round, Purpose, you're on deck. First up to this round, first up to the mic for the second round is Kennedy Lachey. On mute. I know. Mute keeps showing up.
Mic check.
All set.
I wonder if I'm ever going to get to just write a poem, not be a poem or bleed a poem. Why can't I just be a poet? Just write a poem, cry no tears, do no label for no one else. White women get to just be. They don't have to bleed. They get to pen pretty proper poetry about shit like the trees with words that hold little to no weight. Flowers get to be flowers, not symbols of death or shit else getting taken from us. They just float. And I wonder when, if ever, it'll be the same wonder. If I know how to live a life where I ain't superwoman. You know we be superwomen carrying the weight of the world on our back with so much ease they can't even tell that it's crushing us.
That I want to be a poet too. And I appreciate that the stories we lean into, we didn't have a chance to do the whole intro of who I am, but I am concurrently the poet laureate for the city of Milwaukee and the poet laureate for the state of Wisconsin. And when I came on board, part of my review process, I was like, y'all, while I'm here for 2 years, we ain't talking about rivers and trees. That's it. That's everything. Not that we shouldn't. I just am not. And river poems are beautiful. I need you to make that a metaphor about oppression, though. That's just me. So thank you for that. Yes. How do we get to breathe a poem? How do we get to just be? How do we get to just be? And we have that gift to be able to do both. I had a friend point out to me, I said, you think about it, this avocation becomes your vocation, this poetry world, and there's no space in the middle. And because this avocation was always about untangling and making beautiful and making sense of this here living, pouring it into the purpose and focus of my work life, same conversations. We're talking about sex. We're talking about privilege. We're talking about wonder. We're talking about all the things. And at the bottom of the list will be flowers and trees and rivers. And we get to be poetry too. Our first score is an 8.0, an 8.6, a 9.0, a 9.3, and a 9.0. Thank you so much for those scores. Verse, you are on deck. Next, we have Purpose making her way to the screen.
Mic check.
Good.
Hell no, you can't have this fully carpeted luxury experience. If you scared of natural forestation, you ain't wild enough, don't know how to swing your bat at a nappy dugout. This Ewok slot. Fresh, clean, furry twat. The OG Too Short told you about me. Sometimes it's shaved, sometimes it's heavier. You better be ready to deal with this chinchilla in the winter, much like this landing strip in the spring. What's on top ain't stop this fat knot. It's natural. Good, tight, my body, cocoa butter, supple, sticky, sweet, unlike you. How dare you impose hygiene standards on me you don't live up to? The amount of follicles and folly on your body double, triple the amount that you complaining about. I mean, have you seen you? Experience the smell of you. That's why when pants was down, I reversed gears and bounced while you stood there looking at this cat sad you wasn't finna get snatched, talking about, shit, it's hairy anyway. No, you hairy, pussy.
Oh, see, here's the thing about poetry, y'all. Everything is a poem. Everything has a beat, has a rhythm, has a dance of language trying to find its way to your understanding. And you put that understanding on a page, boom, we have ourselves a poem. That sister said natural forestation. That's what we dealing with here. Okay? A natural wonder. All right? A state park. You hear me? Natural forestation. And don't worry about this chinchilla in the winter, because why are we doing landing strips when it's cold? I hear all of that. Put everything you think into a poem. And for all of my writers out there, keep a little note of everything that's possible and write those poems. At the end of the day, you'll be surprised at how your arsenal of gifts and truth will spread. Our first poetry score for that poem is a 10 and a 9.0. We have a 9.3. Almost. And you see the banner right now, the one I was talking about before, the donate one, that one, the donate one. Yeah, make that happen. Cash App, official BAD. It's going to help this festival. It's going to help the next festival and the one after that. We're going to be in the spirit and the habit of giving. Our next poetry score is a 10 and a 9.7. Thank you, judges. Thank you, poets. Thank you, audience. Everybody good out there? Everybody good? We're halfway through this here thing. We have Goddess on deck. Verse is coming up next. Do we have verse? Do we have verse in the building? No. The internet wins sometimes. And we tried the internet wins sometimes. So that means we have Lucky on deck and Goddess Tamani Rain. You are up. Let's welcome her to the stage. Hit your mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
On bet.
If you're struggling to see God today, I advise you to pray. Breathe. Feel your heartbeat's tempo. Rhythm in your bones, photosynthesis in your melanin feet, grounded hair, defying gravity. Your existence is supernatural. Be grateful you exist. Made it past 19, COVID or Glock. Doctor or cop, we're labeled virus. They shoot to kill. In the event you meet God tomorrow, do a good deed. Revelations 2:5, remember when thou art fallen, repent, do the first work, or I'll remove thy candlestick. So reflect, forgive, be your worst critic, embrace your body in holy matrimony. You are light. When 7-day darkness leaves you weak, celebrate. You ate, left bed, opened your eyes. You were made in the image. So if you're struggling to see God today, just look in the mirror.
Because there she is. God, right there. God, the one you're looking for. Boom, right there. Every time you do that, that's where God is. That's where God is. And be reminded of that. We can easily get caught up in the language of Godness. Language given to us by pastors and preachers and rabbis and ancient men who decided that, and I've just recently come across this, so I've been preaching this as my gospel. For the first 200,000 years of human existence, 200,000 years of human existence, we understood that God is a woman. to anthropomorphize an energy and a vibration. This is a whole nother conversation for another slam, but God has always been a woman, and we can have a whole historical conversation about when that left turn happened. So look in the mirror. And even if you don't have a woman identified body, guess what? God is still a woman and you are still God. Hey, now that's what image is all about. That is all what it's been about. So let's be reminded that that power that we're looking for is in us first. That guidance you're looking for is you on the other side is trying to get your attention. We have all the energy to be all the energy we want to be. Our first score for that poem is a 10. We have an 8.9. We have a 9.8. This is me jamming y'all playlist again. That one song, don't quit your day job, but thank you for playing along. Thank you for playing along. We got 3 scores, looking for 2 more. Struggling to see God. 9.0 and a 9.3. Those are our 5 scores. We're pushing through this round. We have Tierra on deck. Lucky, making your way to this virtual screen, please.
Mic check, mic check.
Okay.
Change be the only constant, so I stay shifting. Magically moving with the waves, rolling in the deep of the tumbleweeds until I meet a wall, until the sun causes a thickness in me still, stiff and calm. I be there when the dust settles, cause shit, I make the dust settle. I put shit to rest, put shit to the test. I'll create a storm to make you show me your best, or to at least try your hardest, because I'll never settle. I'll settle in though, right beneath your wings, to remind you that you aren't alone. I am everywhere and nowhere, in places seen and unseen. I am felt in the strength of the sea and between the soft of your teeth, because I breathe deep and easy, reminding you that this part of life tends to be easy. The breathing, the living, the loving, the changing, the being, the becoming, the rearranging, the spirit shifting. Peace.
Stay shifting. Stay shifting. That's the whole purpose why we get up. If you were the same person, the same shift, the same space 2 spaces ago, you're missing a gift. Not to be different. Don't not be you, but it's a flow. And the idea of flow means there's movement. So you stay shifting. And I love this language of settling or settling in. Let's break that down super, super, super quick. So settling is, we want to make sure that we are taking in account of where we are, right? The context, the people, your motivations, theirs. And that's settling in, because sometimes we run too fast. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you out there like that. But I'm just saying sometimes we move too fast because we're used to the flow, and not moving means that there must be something down there we're not getting. But when we give ourselves the permission to settle in, to take in, that's allowed too. Now, settling with more than or less than what's due you is paying attention to everything that's around you. So settling versus settling in, 2 different actions, and know which one is moving you. Excellent, excellent. Thank you and an amen. Our first score for that poem is a 9.9. We have a 9.8. We have a 9.7, a 9.3, and a 9.7. Thank you for those scores. Thank you for that poem. Alex, you're on deck. Tierra, making your way to the stage.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Sounds good.
There's a billboard that reads America's Most Wanted blocking the sunshine, which makes it hard for her to see where she's walking. But before you start talking, this is her neighborhood. There's no such thing as pixie dust and fairies, and the closer she gets to flowers being in the yard is dandelions, and those ain't nothing but weeds. The closer she gets to a role model is the old man on the radio asking, have you seen her? And tell me, have you seen her? Oh, well, she lives this. And since she ain't gonna pack up her rags and move her to Beverly, she has to endure this. Potholes, gunshot holes in the classroom windows, knock off shoes and clothes being sold on every corner for the low, and you can't forget about the crackhead hell. She lives this. She don't watch much TV. She just goes outside and while watching, stepping on cigarette butts just for fun. She watches the stories.
And all that's missing out that window is amnesia, is a twin, is somebody who supposedly was in another country and just showed up. Anybody else sit and watch the stories with their elders? Okay, maybe just me. Yes, all we're doing is watching the stories out these windows. And you got that sign blocking the sunshine, but this is a narrative that we live in. Thank you for turning that into art. And I want to make a comment too about dandelions. They told us they were weeds. But do you know how healthy a dandelion is to us? Had to make a point how that the chemicals that we are sold and told to go out every summer and spray these dandelions because they're weeds, they're unattractive, we don't need them, we don't want them. Monsanto takes those dandelions and extracts the medicine from them and then sells that back to us. I'm just saying there's games being played out here. I'm just saying we need to make sure we are continuing to learn, we are continuing to explore, and we're continuing to examine everything we think we know about these structures that have been put around us. Now, this is also talk from someone who doesn't garden. So someone out there who's gardening is like, I don't know what she's talking about. I love my spray it down because those dandelions, they kill my rutabagas. Okay, that's a different discussion. And I cannot speak from experience. This may be true. But as a kernel of fact, dandelions, they make a great salad. There's health in them. We were told to kill them. For aesthetics. But here we go. And I'm back. I know poets always find an analogy to everything. Our first score for that poem, Snapple facts. The first poem for that, the score for that poem is a 9.7, a 9.4, an 8.9, a 9.0, and a 9.2. Thank you, judges. We got this flow happening. We are ready to close out this round. We can please invite Alex the Great to the stage.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. To my daughter, I had practiced a most sacred praise in hopes that one day we would meet. The year I turned 13, I lay in a shell-shocked state and watched as my older cousin peeled back all of his male flesh and revealed his thirst for my young skin. Because of this, I have learned to consume men, devouring male flesh in an attempt to get back that which I never intended to give. Surely Jezebel and I must be next of kin, but God bless you, child. What vile and grit and grime you had to come through, for I have cursed this womb. Pray God will see fit to excavate this woman pit that breathes and inhale sees that one day grow into mirrors reflecting miracles. Perhaps one day your body will also betray you. Do not curse people or things without thinking before you speak. Your mother's heart is a devil's lair, the sinner's prayer. Swarm of locusts coming, flash, flood, warning, fire and brimstone, pitchfork and horns. You are redemption. Proof I've been forgiven. God gives second chances and he does not make mistakes. You are my most sacred praise.
You get to make a talisman from where you find them. You get to claim your holy circle, but the holiness around you. You get to make your own sacred praise for the praise that's sacred to you. I don't want to have any at-me's from the tabernacles and from that's a different conversation, but you claim your sacred. And having things in your world, in your circle, in your spirit that you find sacred, it only helps us celebrate all the other glory, all the other gifts that are out there in the world, as opposed to me making you make my sacred your sacred. That's where this religion thing got wrong. And again, hearing from a universalist is different from a conversation of religion. And that conversation, that word sacred. All my poets out there, that's your poetry, your second poetry assignment. The first one is, what did grandmother's hands make? You thought I forgot, didn't you? What did grandma's hands make? Your grandmothers, all the grandmothers, the idea of grandmothers, and some of the grandmothers made messes. And we're allowed to say that too. Can we please talk about the trifling grandmothers? I'm just saying. And secondly, what is your sacred? You get to name what that is. Our first score for that poem is an 8.9. Our second score is a 10. We have a 10. We have a 9.8. And we have an 8.5. And remember, where the scores work, the highest score and the lowest score get dropped, and we add the 3 in the middle. Whoo! Y'all, we are powering through this slam. We're already through round 2. I know. These poets came with all of their fire. Not their best fire, not their only fire, not the fire from the show, all of their fire. They brought it to this here screen today. And I know I'm grateful for what they are lending to this moment with all of us. Our third round, our final round, is our 2-minute round. And the same thing I asked before, what's the song that you would drop if you were the DJ right now? Please put that in the chat thread. What should be playing right now? And you might even, if you don't have a DJ name, what's your DJ name? My bonus baby, because we landed on, we don't want step family. My bonus baby is a DJ and 15, 16 years old, and has already been in college parties. Came up with her name. You ready? You ready? You're not ready. You ready? K-Foria. I know, DJ K-Foria in the building. So you get a DJ name, you get to pick the song, and now we're going to have our sack poet for this third round.
This morning, I woke up in the shell of a black woman. Hard-boiled, slightly cracked. Nothing is ever over easy, mostly scrambled, Lord knows. I try to find the sunny side up of things. But hell, I'm just trying to make it through breakfast. Riddle me this. How does a black woman stay full when she is always feeding everyone else? Maybe when the kids are sleeping. Or maybe during my lunch break. But I pretend like I ain't hungry though. Eat off the hearty pieces of my pride throughout the day. Sit impatiently waiting for more diversity, inclusive crumbs to fall from the greedy mouth of some white man who don't know nothing about the seasoning in my poems. But I feel fragile this morning. I feel the yoke of my sanity fleeting quickly. And even with all the world on my back and the fire burning in my belly, he still expects a hot meal on the table, but doesn't bring home the bacon. And this makes me sizzle on the inside. But I smile, nod, and take a sip of my heavy on the sugar cream with a little coffee. It's the only thing sweet in this moment. 'Cause hell, I'm just trying to make it through the day.
Whew! And sometimes we just have to take this day in parts. Just get through breakfast. We'll deal with lunch when that day part comes. We don't even talk about dinner. We're not even going to think about that midnight hour right now, because some days you just got to get through the day parts. And when you pace those days that way, that has also allowed good people. That has also allowed good people. All right. We here's about ready. Here we go into round 3, the 2-minute round. On deck, we have Tierra. First up is Kennedy Lachey. Oh, we didn't do the judges. My bad. I'm sorry. That part, because it's not a showcase. It's a slam. I know. I got all in my chest. Can we have some scores for our sacrificial poet? The first score we have is a 9.4. We have a 9.0. This is me jamming to y'all music. A 9.2. This is the record skip. A 9.5. got 4 and a 9.5. Thank you, judges. We're almost there. Judges, you're doing great. We asked you to stay consistent and you are on point. We asked you to be speedy. We are in the flow, and this is our last round. This is going to be amazing. Whoo! So all of you in the audience out there, I'm going to invite you also in this last round. This is a shout out time. So we're all in this virtual space. If you got a virtual thing that you want people to know about, put it in the chat so we're all from all over the country enjoying this moment. Let's see what you got happening over there in Topeka. Who knows? All right. So while that's happening in the chat thread, we are going to, again, we have Tiara on deck. First up is Kennedy Lachey.
Mic check.
Looking good.
They be like, do the poem, the one with the story about the thing that almost killed you, damn near took you out. They asked for it on demand, on command, and we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. They say exhume the body and bury it again in hopes of a 10. Leave your heart on that fucking stage. Tell the story about the person that used to be yours. Relive your heartbreak, perform. Give us your drama. Give us your trauma. Give us something so we can like relate, cry, so we believe you. Give it all you fucking got and don't you regret it. And I wonder how I'm supposed to package my pain, make it pretty yet still packable. Dissect myself, dice me up into shards tiny enough for you to digest, yet still sharp enough for you to feel something. Someone once told me I wasn't vulnerable enough in my poetry. Like I don't strip myself bare, lay it all out there, exercise my demons, cast my sins in hopes of tens. He don't know about the nights I stand at the ceiling ignoring tears that they sit at my eyes brimmed and moonwalk down my face. He don't know about my pain, but he say I could be more vulnerable. Like I don't give the people something real, something they could feel. Perform open heart surgery, cosmetic too. Kiss myself up to God. Hope he can make me God pretty. I want to be God pretty. This isn't performance. This is repentance. I am sending hallelujahs while my mind is in hell. Nigga told me I could be more vulnerable. Like I don't pin tragedies pretty enough for you to forget the fact that I died in them. Like I ain't eclectic enigma, the nerve of this nigga to act like I ain't dispelling disses and breaking curses alike. Like I don't pin pretty songs about my plight. Like this shit ain't in my blood, in my heart, in my veins. Like I ain't fighting for myself and my niggas. Like I ain't got the pressures of home, my hair, pain in my heart, monsters in my head. Like this shit don't wake me up on my sleep at night. Aang called me water and I guess he was right. Think Katrina and Ida, the way I do damage after all. Ain't a rainbow just God's promise not to fuck us up with water again?
Ain't that what a rainbow is? Ain't that what a rainbow is? Is that what that last poem was too? Is that what your last poem was? Oh, we're talking about packaging up our pain. She said making it pretty and palpable because somehow your pain has to be of service, and how you stay in touch with these scribbles. And again, we talked about everybody needing to hear you when you speak. You get to determine how you package your pain. Make sure it's for you, scribes. Make sure it's making sense for you, scribes. And then when you share that with the world, it's hopefully not a burial and exhuming over and over again. I was really appreciative in the the season we're working with our young poets that we're mindful of having them relive and regain and re-ornament, put ornaments on their pain. So thank you for this conversation. Our first score for that poem is a 9.8. We have a 9.5, a 10, almost, a 10, and a 10. Rocking it out. We have Alex on deck. Next up to our virtual screen is Tiara Nicole.
All right, mic check, mic check. I hope that you're the one. If not, you are the prototype. And we'll tiptoe to the sun and do things I know you like. I think I'm in. I think I changed my mind again. And it's not anything that you did or didn't do. I won't go so far as to compare you to a dog, because that's an insult to dogs. I'm wishy-washy. Indecisive. I got enough floating in the air that to add love to the factor only makes my anxiety overreact, and I could be a lover, but I'd rather be a loner. Because to have what was once described to me as healthy adult companionship anymore these days is complicated, especially since being with self is something that I've become accustomed to. But don't get me wrong. I have my moments, days when I wish I had someone I could share with. Family and friends are totally different. The kids can't even fill this void. The back and forth is exhausted enough. Once upon a time, I thought I had found love. Thought I knew how things would eventually be, but the memories only went about as far as waist deep. Never quite piercing the heart, and Cupid's cradles tricks. And when I was a kid, I thought I was doing something. I fell when I probably should have kept my feet planted, hesitated when I might have really been on to something, but I'm wishy-washy, indecisive. And it seems that making up my mind is the last thing that comes easily. I hope that you're the one. Then again, I don't. I'd rather crush than to be crushed, sit up in my room like I'm Brandy than to act on the feeling, because every time I think I'm well on the way to having what you will find in fairy tales, as vivid as my imagination is, I talk myself out of it. As quick as I am to hope, I'm quicker keeping my distance and getting close.
It was close. It almost happened. And then you had to be a whole human. I love talking about it. Only got as far as waist deep. And we thought we was doing something. That is not just her poem. We all are in that poem. We all are in that poem. Someone in the back in the green room said, yeah, we all thought it was popping in middle school. And then those burns, those scars, those habits that, check it out, makes us, not check it out, moving forward. We also are made to love. We also are made to be loved. But you do got to be careful out there. Games are being played. Just make sure it's not you gaming yourself. I'm just saying, we're complicated. We all wishy-washy. We all try to make it make sense. Do we have some scores for this first poet? We have an 8.9. There's a dog. We have an 8.9. I know. I'm going to open the door in a second. You have to wait. We got one. We got a 9.0. A 9.0. An 8.9. And a 10. Thank you, judges. Thank you, judges. Thank you, poet. Purpose, you are on deck. Alex, making your way to the virtual stage.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. An ode to my loud mouth. You are the antithesis of the whisper. Everyone knows your arrival to the room even before you do. Attention calls out to you. You can never be mistaken for subtle. Can you be any louder is like some kind of foreplay. The ultimate turn on, yet you require no assistance, no toys or gimmicks. Put bullhorns and whistles and microphones out of business. You can hush a crowd with just one sound. Bring on the noise and the funk. You exacerbate the lovemaking. Awake all the neighbors from next door to the next city. No hand can cover up the damage you do, the equivalent to putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound. You djembe, you instrument of praise, you link to ancestry, family tree with no roots, you giving us free, you freeing yourself, you cracking the whip on master's ass, and you just laugh. Seek pleasure in the roasting sessions, high side and clowning a kiki my ass. You all turn down the radio, or I'll sing over the record, amplify my speakers. I mean, just open up the mute. It's like your kryptonite. Only superhero you know who wears no disguise, shows up to the fight all tongue twister, word warrior. Verbal warfare is like meet me in the ring for an argument. Will show up anytime, any place, anywhere.
No games. No games. There's a message to me. All right. before we take this score, we have to get the scores from the previous poet. No? Yes? Huh?
We need Joseph's score for Kennedy.
I see in the thread it was a 10.
All good?
Yes. And Jazz agrees. All right. And we're back. Scores, judges, for this poem from Alex. You. Not right now. It's been a long time since I'm house dog watching. It's not like babysitting, y'all. It's not the same. We have a 9.3, a 9.2, a 9.9, and an 8.9. One more. One more. One more score. One more score. Yes, just waiting for one more score while I quiet this fierce terrier guard dog. We're waiting on, and a 9.7. Thank you so much. Judges, stay with us. We're almost there. We have 2 more voices happening in this incredible slam. Goddess, you are on deck. Next up, wait, did I lie? I did a little bit. 3 voices. It's cool. Math, I already told you, not my jam, but poetry, community, all day long. Dogs, not exactly either. So Lucky, you are on deck. Next, we're going to have Purpose making her way to the stage.
Mic check. To the man brave enough to date a fatherless woman, this won't be easy. I make no apologies for who I am, feminine with mannish tendencies. I'm not a little lady or date your cape. Just adds another dirty piece of laundry to my load, you should know. The males before you were astronomers, saw the void my father left, a black hole, disguised as low self-esteem, a thing to be studied for a night or two, something for them to jump off in, explore, and leave. Fatherless women date off-brand versions of Kool-Aid. They are Weilers, watermelon sweet, clear, cold, and gone after you swallow. We expect you to be gone after we swallow, as we were adopted by low expectations. Don't know how to react when you stay. We'll send you home today because we still have to be you tomorrow. Won't pretend that you'll just slide into your role. Fatherless women don't know how to need you. The only man we ever knew exists inside us. We don't even know what to need you for. What exactly do you do? I mean, no disrespect. I really want to know how to need you, but I won't shrink under your manliness or go extinct in my own skin. Losing the mister in me feels like another man abandoning me. So I'm sorry, but this fatherless woman has played his role, your role, and they role for so long she does not know how to not be man of the house.
This is the face when you're putting out fires and hosting a show. Just being transparent. Don't want anyone to think that I'm sliding. Just lost a dog. That's all. I know. In 30 seconds. A whole animal. But we're back. Judges, what have you for that poem? And audience out there, please continue to celebrate the poet. The poet. For that poem, we have a 9.9, We're almost there, judges. Let's keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. We talked about flow. We talked about flow. We talked about flow. We have an 8.7. I got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I got 3, 3, 3, a 9.3. 3 scores, 3, 3 scores. I got 3, 3, 3, 3. Can I get 4, 4, 4, 4 scores? 4, 4, 4, 4 scores. I need 4. I need 4. I need 4, 4, 4 scores. Just 2 more. Just 2 more, judges. We're so close. We're right there. We're so close. We got this rhythm happening. I just need 2 more scores. That's all, judges. I know you're thinking about it. You're doing fancy algebra. We got a 10. 1 more score. Just 1 more. Come on through, Overhead Media Group. Can we get 1 more score? Just 1 more. Just 1 more. We so close, y'all. We so close, y'all. We got 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4, 4, 4. And usually that's when the 5 drops. But not quite. And a 5. We got shaking my head too. And we have a 10. Thank you, judges. We're super close. We have Goddess who's on deck. And our next poet making her way to the stage is Lucky.
Mic check, mic check. They say everything works together for my good, but most times me and God don't agree on what's good for me. I don't see things the way she does. Most times I think she takes things just because. Sometimes I don't know the plan, although I know I'm not supposed to. And other times I know the door is closed and I'm still trying to walk through, because most times I'm stubborn and I don't listen. I move without God's permission. I make decisions and then sit and wonder what's missing. Wonder why I can't bring anything to fruition. Wonder why my dreams stay dreams and never become realities. Telling everybody I'm waiting on God when she has been waiting on me. And y'all, she's waited long enough. Worked on our behalf and in spite of us hard enough. Followed us far enough off the path. When will the last time actually be the last? I be talking to myself like, girl, they say it took us 6 days to create the universe and she still had you in mind. So how could you think that she'd leave you in your dark times? Is she not sending you? Is she not giving you visions and made your dreams come true? Is she not saved you from the depths of your darkness, dragged you out of your deep, placed your 2 feet on solid ground and made sure you always had something to eat? Because she has been the same God waiting on a different you, a you who is willing to change and do what she's called you to, a you who is open to love and able to forgive, a you who won't forget the reasons to live, a you willing to live and to do so in confidence, head held high in expectation, because we serve a God who keeps her promises. So promise me this, that this year you'll throw away your thought to quit. Say everything you're so afraid to admit. You will face your fears. They aren't bigger than she is. You'll trust yourself and your process. Continue to tell yourself you've got this, because you do. You've got God living within you. So listen to her and allow her to guide you, because she can't do anything for you. You won't allow her to. Open yourself to the you coming soon.
Listen, the way this she God works won't do anything for you that you won't allow her to. This is the universe that we make with your power, acknowledging your agency, as opposed to a God who tells you how you got to be. Hey, this is all the glory here for you. You just got to come and get it. Just got to come and ask for it. It's the same God waiting on a different you. Come on now. I don't know. These poets in here dropping gems and dropping gospel on y'all. Judges, how you feeling? Can we get some scores for that poem? And again, chat thread, continue to big up these poets. That's right, Lucky. It is our life out here, reaching into the depths of your darkness. Only have a way to match it up with some light. For our first score for that poem, we have a 10. We have a 10. We have a 9.1. Three, three, three. We got 3, 3, 3, 3. I need 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4, 4, 4. We need 4, 4, 4. We got a 10. Can I get a 5th score? Can I get a 5th score? All right, I see you Overhead Media Group coming on through. We have a 10. 5 scores. Knocked it out. Last poet. Last poet of the round. Last part of the slam. Last part of these preliminary everything. Because next is coming up are the finals. Right now, put your hands together for Goddess Tamani Rain.
Mic check. Crush, roll, lick, light, pray, sage, repeat. Each morning, I wake up wishing I didn't. Ask depression, can I move today? It says, go, close the blinds. Light was my best friend. Now sunshine through window pane to illuminate mind shadows. Dance with skeletons, overflowing my closet. I wrestle weak old laundry disguised as a comforter. My blanket is tired of burn holes. I skip showers to steam in bed. Stomach reach panic mode. I won't break fast. Anxiety guards the kitchen. There's weight on my shoulders, not my hips. They aren't wide enough to move mountains or my bedroom door. My family is a deep pigmented mural of big and beautiful me, thin, light-skinned living room ghost. I wish I was born a mirror instead of brown paper bag, black sheep. I write and smoke for temporary relief. Papers bear the burden. Splits be fat so existence is digestible, because self-awareness is infuriating. I avoid my reflection. Nights I wear noose necklaces, damaged eyes dysmorph my body. Swallow liquor bottles chased by intrusive thoughts, toxins. Taught testimony, the dangers of silence. Sounds like self-mutilation. My feelings exiled by razors, liquid liver, below sore feet and broken promises. I sought wounds with Epsom baths. Get faded as my memory is trying to stay higher than my self-esteem. I crush, roll, lick, light, pray, sage, repeat.
Let it all burn down. Because these splits be fat, y'all. And we repeat this piece. We repeat this piece. We repeat. Oh my goodness, these messages are everywhere. This is the grand gift of a poet. I heard an amazing poem about oatmeal once. I know, but it was incredible. It was incredible. So we have the split, roll, light, sage, and repeat. The stories you have to give the world are in your everyday, are in your every moment, are in your everything, and you brought your everything here today. Our first score for that poem is a 10. We have a 9.6. Y'all saw I came through the shoulders today? It's a poetry slam. Shoulders required. A 9.5. Of course, it's electric slide. What else? What? You know, that part of the family gathering that gets everybody together. This is that part. Because we almost a wrap, y'all. We almost a wrap. And yep, I'm the one who's doing the freestyling and not doing the moves. We have a 9.8. Overhead. Thank you. We got a 10 and a 10. Y'all, we had ourselves a slam. We had ourselves a whole slam. And while we are working on this fancy mathematics, I'm going to ask all of you out there to close this space the same way I asked the poets to when we did our check-in earlier before the bout. Give us a power word. Yeah, just one word you're feeling right now. Doesn't need to be long. You don't need to explain it. And if your word is booger, okay, that's your life and we know it's going to mean something. Give us a power word and drop that in the chat. We all are going to close this space. We all are celebrating what we just experienced together. Even though you're not right next to me, sipping your cocktail, giggling and kikiing with me, you are right here next to me, sipping whatever you're sipping, feeling however you're feeling. Virtually, we're here. So thank you for bringing it up. We've got pressure. We've got freedom. We've got love. We've got magic. We've got organic. Drop your power word in the thread. Thank all of you for being here. Thank all of you for making sure that you were here to witness this incredible, incredible space. And before I get out of here, I want to thank our festival director and our bout manager, our tournament directors, our safety and wellness coordinator, volunteer coordinator, and all of the staff and volunteers who made this slam possible. Please know that we are out here organizing the Women of the World Poetry Slam because of our love and affinity for this culture and the craft of this art form. This event is presented by the Black Arts District and would be impossible without this list of partners and community members. We have T. Rowe Price, Visit Baltimore, Maryland State Arts Council, and 2Gym Consulting. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for our virtual finals to crown our champion. You can go to www.wowpsfest.com to watch. Have an amazing afternoon. Thank you all and stay safe.